Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I want to talk about Ausar Thompson returning from the blood clots, which is huge, as you know, blood clots are incredibly scary. So we're just going to talk about what this impact's going to look like and what it could mean for this team. I want to hear your guys' opinions down below in the comment section, and if you guys have any opinions or anything you guys want to say, just put it there too. Like and subscribe for more content like this. We cover every NBA team, and go check out my work at hoopshype.com. Now let's get right into today's video. I think the biggest thing is, if you look at the return of Ausar Thompson for the Detroit Pistons, according to Shams Charania of ESPN, it's big news. After being sidelined in March due to a blood clot issue, the NBA's fitness to play panel has now cleared him to resume play. His return is expected to provide much needed depth and skill to a Detroit Pistons team that, despite improvements from last season, is still struggling with a 4-7 record and currently ranks in 10th in the Eastern Conference standings. The arrival of new head coach JB Bickerstaff obviously adds intriguing dynamics, as his experience and fresh perspective may be the key to tapping into Ausar Thompson's unique skill set and potential. In his rookie season, Ausar Thompson demonstrated flashes of that said potential, averaging 8.8 points, 6.4 rebounds, just under 2 assists a game in 63 games. Obviously known for his athleticism and defensive ability, he brings energy and versatility to both ends of the courts. For a team like Detroit, who currently ranks 30th in steals with about 5.1 per game and 24th in blocks with 5.7 per game, Ausar Thompson's defense could be the game changer. His ability to disrupt passing lanes and protect the paint at a position where he can guard 1 through 3 as a wing defender, it's pretty incredible. And one area that Thompson can significantly impact the Pistons is rebounding. They currently ranked 12th in the rebounds for 45.8, but that is a slight improvement over last season's ranking. I do believe that his presence, though, would allow to relieve some burden on having to have bigs like Jalen Duren out there a lot more than they need to. As much as I like Jalen Duren, I do agree that Jalen Duren has some limitations. He's gotten better on defense, but we're still ironing out the kinks, and having a guy like Ausar out there will help Tobias Harris, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey when they want to go smaller units. Offensively, Thompson's potential as a slasher and a transition fast break player is promising. The Pistons are currently averaging 107.9 points per game, which is about 6th worst in the NBA. While he's not a primary scorer, Thompson's ability to score efficiently, as he did last year at 48% from the field, while not being like a super great jump shooter, is something that is good because it'll keep defenses honest, as he's a really good cutter. Now, if you look at how Cade Cunningham, who's averaging just under 23 points, is playing, and then you have Jaden Ivey, who's playing fantastic, you have this guy who will give Cunningham and Jaden Ivey more room to operate, as defenses will have to account for Thompson's presence as a slasher and a backdoor cutter. Ausar is going to return and benefit the Detroit Pistons bench, as they've struggled to provide consistent scoring and defensive support. With JB Bickerstaff's track record of developing young talent and implementing strategic defensive schemes, the Thompson's going to flourish in Detroit's defense. I think Bickerstaff's defensive schemes will amplify Thompson's impact and really make him a point of attack to disrupted defender against the opponent's best offensive players. The Pistons' poor shooting efficiency this season, especially from 3, they're the 9th worst in the league with 34%. I think is, last year the Stars shot 18%, so it's hopefully that's going to take some steps. That's the jury's still out on that one. But overall, I think having Ausar Thompson come in there is going to be huge, as it could help Detroit push the climb up the Eastern Conference standing as they establish a more formidable defensive identity. And if you look at the current roster, 4th in the Central Division, 10th in the Eastern Conference, you got Cade Cunningham playing phenomenal, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and his playmaking and scoring are awesome. But he's carrying a huge load, while, Cunningham isn't like a huge defensive guy, but having Thompson there is going to allow some of the defensive responsibility to go to him, to allow Cade Cunningham to focus on orchestrating the offense and conserving his energy for late game situations. And the same goes for Jaden Ivey, who's averaging just under 20 points on 47% from the field, 40% from 3, as he's one of the bright spots in Detroit's shooting woes. Despite his scoring Ivy has struggled defensively, and that's something that I think having Thompson there will allow, Ivy to have kind of like this help defender whose length and Thompson and his athleticism will be able to make up for some shortcomings. As well as I think there's going to be, again, going back to the small ball situations where Jalen Duren comes off the floor and you put in Isaiah Stewart, who's kind of a small ball five, more of a gritty, versatile forward who's, reliable, but isn't the best at covering ground quickly. So having Thompson there to complement Stewart's physicality, as Thompson can guard multiple positions and provide that help defense when necessary, I think that would allow Stewart to remain closer to the paint and improve the Pistons' overall rim protection and their defensive rotations. But as we said, the low scoring, the efficiency for this team, hopefully having Thompson drawing defenders inside because he's going to be cutting, is going to allow for better, higher shot quality or higher percentage shots to be taken by Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaden Ivey, and Tobias Harris. While they have defensively, their metrics haven't been great, but Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. aren't great defenders. So having a guy like Ausar Thompson, whose ability to intercept passes, contest shots, be a weak side defender, and switch onto anybody, he has a 7-foot wingspan that's going to disrupt any ball movement that's going on, especially against fast perimeter-oriented teams. And he was a guy last year who averaged like 1.1 steals and just about a block a game. Now, I know those stats don't really mean anything, but I think just, again, going back to him being able to not only be a transition player on offense who's going to generate those fast break opportunities with his speed and as his athleticism, grabbing the rebound and then just pushing the break, or having Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey push the ball, and Thompson's ability to finish around the rim and in transition will really help them. So I do think, though, on the defensive side, he's going to be a guy who can kind of be like a free safety for them. So JB Bickerstaff is already a guy who's known for his emphasis on defense, and his player development was solid. I mean, you saw his experience in Cleveland where he helped Evan Mobley and Darius Garland grow into well-rounded, contributors and other guys. So we've seen JB Bickerstaffs tend to have a system that prioritizes switching and have more athletic, flexible defenders on the wing who can guard multiple positions. Thompson, next to Ron Holland, fits that mold to a T, and he really could, be a defensive anchor for this team. And if Cleveland, can emphasize, not Cleveland, but if Bickerstaff can emphasize the same system that he had in Cleveland and maybe have Ausar Thompson's 3-point shot develop similar to Isaac Okuro's, I think this could really be the disciplined, defensive-minded approach that made Cleveland one of the best defensive teams be leveraged in Detroit to do the same thing with the defensive versatility that they have with their players. Again, I think now, like I said, with a defensive-oriented coaching style, with already multiple good players, I think you're in a situation that looks really good for a guy like Ausar Thompson to be taken advantage of and to, be a guy who can thrive here. That's it.